What up, Hyperchange? Welcome to another episode. Today we're talking about Tesla. I just bought a little more stock yesterday at $2.96 per share. Stoked about it. Earnings coming up tomorrow, so that I'd update you on, why I bought new stocks, sort of my personal investing philosophy here. So I guess, the biggest reason is I finally had money to invest. I'm pretty broke. I run a YouTube channel. The second I have a couple extra $100, I of course have my list of stocks that I want to buy. And so I, choose where to invest it. And Tesla is the only stock I own other than Arcimoto, which is like a super tiny position. So really, I only own one company, which is Tesla, that matters to me. And I decided to buy more shares because I've been, if you watch the channel, I've been following Tesla for 10 years, more than that, researching this company. I feel like I know it inside and out. I believe in the long-term vision and the future of Tesla, Elon Musk, betting on the jockey. And so I have more confidence in this name than any other name because I've spent so much time with it. And that's why I'm adding to my shares here. So why here? Why now? Because I finally had money to invest. And I wanted to say that because I hate thinking I can time the market. People who are always telling me, oh, isn't there a recession coming up? Why are you buying? There's about to be a huge recession. First of all, nobody can accurately predict recessions. Warren Buffett says he can't predict recessions. I just don't believe that anybody can predict them, so I try not to do it myself. Can't pretend that you think a recession's coming and let that impact your investing activity. At least that's my rule. The other thing is, you never know how a stock is going to move after earnings. So many people are telling me like, oh my God, well, isn't it going to crash after earnings? So aren't you going to want to wait to buy? I don't know. It's so funny because the point of this episode is I'm saying like, oh, I bought Tesla stock, but yet all I'm talking about is how I have no idea what's going to happen and how it could go way up or way down tomorrow. And that's the reality. And that's just sort of the mentality I have as a owner. So why am I comfortable buying it now? I have accepted the fact that I don't know what's going to happen to the stock price in the near term. In the short term, the stock market is a voting machine. It's irrational relative to intrinsic value. But in the long term, the stock market is a weighing machine, and it always reverts towards that intrinsic value. And so what is the intrinsic value today of Tesla? In my opinion, it's around $400 per share. Why? Because that would value the company at about $75 billion. I think Tesla is worth $75 billion because that's about a 2 times revenue multiple on what they're doing this year. I think the company is, on a normalized annualized basis is doing about $4 to $5 billion in operating cash flow right now. So that's only a 15 times multiple on that $75 billion. And then I think about how I'm valuing the company on that $5 billion in cash flow, but that's only based on the Model 3, Model S, X, a little bit of Tesla energy. Wait till we have the Semi, the Model Y, the pickup truck. I think Tesla has the potential to generate tens and tens of billions of cash flow per year at maturity. And so that's why me buying it at a price of $50 billion today looks cheap if I'm right. And so I think there's huge upside to Tesla. I mean, all of you know on the channel about why I'm so excited about if we have to electrify every single form of energy generation and energy storage and energy consumption, there is just a lot of electric cars and a lot of batteries to sell. And I think Tesla's the company with the best technology that's going to capture the lion's share of this transition to sustainable energy, and that's going to build $1 trillion company. So buying them at $50 billion when I think they're going to be worth $1 trillion in 10 or 15 years is the good steal, or that's the potential. Tesla's still sort of like a VC investment, and although you might be saying like, no, they're a car company, they've been around for 15 years, like they're already established, like they're already an IPO, they're a large cap. This isn't VC investing, Gally. Well, VC investing to me means I'm investing in a company at its startup mode, where its business model isn't at maturity yet. And I think that's the point where Tesla is. It's still a venture capital style investment because the business, they're break even now, which is great, but the business isn't still at maturity. And that's the other thing about Tesla, about why I'm buying now, and I love it. And I think the intrinsic value, no matter what you think it is, I think even a short seller, even David Einhorn, if you're watching, would have to agree with me that the intrinsic value of Tesla as an asset has never been higher. Why? Because they went from burning 500 million to $1 billion a quarter to producing 500 million to $1 billion a quarter. I don't care what business you're in, but if you're a company that is now all of a sudden making $1 billion versus losing $1 billion, that's a hell of a lot better shape to be in as a company. And what's so ironic is in that entire transition in where Tesla's business has gone from this money loser, heavily investment mode to now profitability, pumping out billions, nobody's noticed. The stock price hasn't changed. The market isn't reflecting this massive change in Tesla's business model, arguably the biggest inflection point in the company's business model since they IPO'd or in their history. They're now producing capital and are going to do it sustainably versus burning or consuming capital. As an investor and someone who thinks about companies very long term and as assets as a whole, what am I buying? When I look at Tesla, I think I'm buying an electric vehicle maker that is no longer in this hole of constantly needing capital. They can do it themselves now. Tesla's in their own driver's seat of controlling their destiny with this new cash flow situation, and that to me is a game changer. And so what's going to happen on Wednesday? We're going to see Tesla report its second quarter of positive free cash flow and positive GAAP profits, or that's what I'm estimating. And that is huge. I mean, this is something that nobody thought was possible just a year ago when Elon Musk guided for this, and now Tesla's done it. How many stories do we read about Elon Musk never comes through on his word? He's always talking BS. He always makes promises he can't keep. Well, guess what promises he just kept? That was his most ridiculous promise of all, which was that Tesla was going to be profitable in the back half of 2018, and they're about to do it. And so that is kind of the lens where I look through all of this, is like all the hard stuff is done. The business model is more de-risked than ever. I think the intrinsic value is around $400 a share and climbing. And so if I can buy at $296 per share, a 33% discount to the intrinsic value today, which I think is only going higher, like I am putting as much capital as I possibly can into Tesla if I have free money to spare. And that's exactly what I did. Is I had a couple $100 to spare, so I bought as much Tesla stock as I could. I don't know. I kind of, this video is a lot less structured. There's a lot less data. There's a lot less charts than my other videos. If you want to see my financial model for Tesla and get in all the numbers, check out those videos. But I kind of, investing, and this is the tricky part, because you never want to be emotional when you invest. But I think using your gut and your sort of heart is actually probably your biggest asset, at least for me as an investor, because I just get this sense of like, there's so much skepticism, even among the bulls in the Tesla community. Like, dude, no matter what they report, the market's not going to like it. Like, nobody cares. Not this. There's never nonstop FUD. Like, even the bulls are down and the stock hasn't moved. Everybody hates on Elon. Nobody has processed that we're profitable. Like, I just don't think everybody's like, oh my God, we just did 7% layoffs. Like, what was the real news? It was that we're profitable for 2 quarters in a row. And actually, I don't mean to be mean to the workers or not, because, it is sad that Tesla had to lay off a lot of their workers, but it's just a cutthroat environment and the layoffs are happening. It's part of the natural ebb and flow of the company. And that's not what's the biggest news. The biggest news is that they're actually cash flow positive. So I also love investing in Tesla because, I'm really not in it for the money. And as much as I am, and I see the potential for this to be $1 trillion company, and I want it and I believe it, and I think that's what's going to happen. Like, I love investing in the future I want to be a part of. That's my favorite part about investing, like putting my capital and my belief and my energy and my awareness into a mission that I think the future needs, that excites me about being part of the future. That's a movement that I want to join. Like, Tesla is just such a cool company. Like, I've been to their factory in Fremont, and it's just like this place where they're pumping out electric spaceships, basically. Like, the biggest building I've ever seen in my life. There's more robots I've ever seen in my life. They're pumping out these crazy spaceships that when I drive, they're the funnest things ever. They have like this 47-year-old CEO who's a crazy genius billionaire who's just getting started and about to hit the prime of his career. They just got to be cash flow positive. Like, you're investing in like the Leonardo da Vinci, the Edison, the Einstein, the Tesla of our time, but before his greatest inventions have hit. And why is Elon Musk such a unique person? Why is this, what makes, everyone says, but what about Elon? Aren't you worried that he could leave or he's crazy? But Elon's their biggest risk. Elon is the biggest asset that Tesla has. I like Elon, and I think I get a lot of hate as being like an Elon fanboy, but I'm really not a fanboy. Like, I don't really care about Elon himself. I just think his accomplishments, what he's done, are really what stuns me. And the way he's shown this knack for turning incredibly complex physics and engineering problems into businesses that affect millions of people, into a product, the Model 3, that is a science project that will inflect the entire industry from fossil fuels to electric. That's this theoretical science project he has that he actually builds and sees through. I mean, this is where there's no parallel for Elon Musk, because we've never seen something like this in history. The ability to be that genius technical inventor and also bring that invention to the masses in a structured way of a business that generates millions and billions of shareholder value, all in your lifetime, all while you're alive, I don't know. So that's kind of me getting off on a tangent, but my point is that Tesla is so special because they have because they have this incredible entrepreneur and leader at their helm who I think is just getting started. it just excites me to give Elon Musk capital, and I'm such I get so inspired by the future that Elon Musk is building that it's where I want to put my capital. It's what I want to invest in. If Tesla goes bankrupt but we switch to electric vehicles, like, I will have considered it a victory for myself, and I will take the loss on my chin of pretty much all my life savings, but I will have known that I was a part of history that mattered, and mattered in a way that could be worth more than any amount of money ever. And so that's what also excites me about Tesla. It's like this crazy, unique opportunity to be a part of a super exciting, inspiring, sustainable future that I'm just like, that we desperately need. So, and I can make money on it. Anyway, that sums up my rant about Tesla. I bought a little bit of stock. Who knows what is going to happen tomorrow? It could crash and I could look like an idiot. It could go way up and I'll look really smart. But anyway, there's so much luck in investing. You never know what's going to happen. I think the biggest mistake you can make is convincing yourself that you can predict a recession or predict what a stock's going to do tomorrow. You can't. If you're right, it's luck. If you're wrong, you got unlucky. And that's just what it is. Buy companies that you believe in, that you understand, and that you believe are trading at a discount to their intrinsic value. That's what I'm doing with Tesla here. And so can't wait to see earnings tomorrow. Of course, I'm going to be covering on the channel. Huge shout out to Patreon supporters and producers funding the channel. Also, on my last video of the earnings preview, you can guess in the comments what you think Tesla's GAAP revenue and operating income will be, and then the winner gets a free hyperchange hat. So a lot on the line. Anyway, see you guys next time. Peace.